Have you ever found yourself carrying the weight of someone else's life on your back? You answer every call, calm every storm, wipe every tear that never belonged to you. You are praised for being so caring and so strong, but at night, your chest tightens and your breath shortens, because somewhere deep down, you know this was never your burden to bear. When you become everything for someone else, you slowly become nothing for yourself. Tonight, we begin the journey of remembering. You are not their parent, and it is time to come home to yourself. The illusion is seductive. To be needed is to feel important. To be the fixer is to feel powerful. Somewhere in your story, you learned that love is earned through sacrifice, that your worth is measured by how indispensable you are to others. But love that demands you to shrink is not love. It is control, dressed in the language of devotion. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, the hidden, disowned parts of ourselves we bury out of fear. When you become the caretaker of another's life, you are not saving them. You are projecting your own disowned needs, hoping that by healing them, you might heal yourself. But healing never comes from abandoning yourself. Look at your hands. See how tightly you clutch their problems, their chaos, their wounds. You hold them as if they are your own children, fragile and helpless. But they are not. They never were. They are adults. And so are you. When you parent another adult, you rob them of their own growth. You steal their failures and their victories alike. In saving them, you silently tell them, "You cannot survive without me." And you tell yourself, "If I am not needed, I am nothing." But what if your real work is not to be needed, but to be whole? There is a grief that comes with stepping back. It feels like abandonment, betrayal, cruelty. But it is none of these things. It is love, real love, the kind that says, "I trust you to carry your own life, and I trust myself to carry mine." And so we take the first step. We loosen our grip. We breathe. In the next part, we will face the terror that rises when you let go. What happens to the one who was built on being the rescuer? Prepare yourself. It will not be easy, but it will be worth it. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff. Behind you is everything you have ever known. The roles, the responsibilities, the invisible contracts you signed without knowing. In front of you is nothing but open air, a vast unknown. Your heart races. Your mind screams. Every part of you begs to turn back, to retreat into the familiar chains. But what if the fall is not a fall at all? What if it is a flight? Letting go is the hardest act of love you will ever commit. The moment you release your grasp on someone else's chaos, something unexpected happens. The silence, deafening. Without their drama, without their crises, without their endless needs pulling you into motion, you are left with only yourself. Do you ever feel like someone finally sees the part of you you've always hidden? Here, you don't have to hide anymore. You're safe now. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so we can keep walking this path together. Thank you. And if you have built your identity around being the strong one, the responsible one, the rescuer, then this silence feels unbearable, because now the question arises, who am I if not their savior? The mind rebels. It pulls up old stories, memories of being praised for your sacrifices, images of being abandoned if you dared to prioritize yourself. Somewhere deep, the child you once were learned that love comes at the price of invisibility. Carl Jung reminds us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This moment of silence, this terrifying void, is your opportunity to see what has been hidden. The compulsion to save others is not born from compassion alone. It is born from fear. The fear that without being needed, you will be forgotten, unwanted, worthless. But that fear is a lie. You were never meant to exist only as a reflection in someone else's mirror. You were never meant to earn your place through suffering. Feel the terror. Do not run from it. Sit with it as you would sit with a wounded child. Speak to it gently. Say, I see you. I understand why you are afraid, but we are safe now. We do not have to disappear to be loved. In this moment, the real healing begins. The person who clings to being a rescuer is often the one who most needed rescuing, not from others, but from the false beliefs that have chained them for a lifetime. You will feel guilt, you will feel shame, you will hear the accusations in your mind. How can you abandon them? But understand this, you are not abandoning them. You are trusting them to live their own life, and you are trusting yourself to live yours. Healing is violent. It rips apart the structures that once kept you alive. It shatters the image you curated for years. It demands everything from you. Your honesty, your grief, your rage, your surrender. You will mourn the person you once were. You will ache for the certainty, even if that certainty was built on pain. But beyond that mourning, beyond that ache, is something breathtaking. Freedom. When you stop parenting others, you give yourself permission to parent yourself. To finally turn all the energy, all the love, all the patience inward. To rebuild from within, piece by piece. It is terrifying. It is exhilarating. It is the only way forward. As you step into the unknown, remember, the emptiness you fear is not your enemy. It is the sacred space where your true self can finally emerge. Let yourself be scared. Let yourself grieve. But do not turn back, because on the other side of letting go, there is a life waiting for you, a life that belongs only to you. In the next part, we will explore the cost of carrying others, and how that cost has quietly stolen your future. Prepare to uncover truths you have long avoided. The journey deepens from here. As you step into the unknown, remember, the emptiness you fear is not your enemy. It is the sacred space where your true self can finally emerge. Let yourself be scared. Let yourself grieve. But do not turn back. Because on the other side of letting go, there is a life waiting for you, a life that belongs only to you. In the next part, we will explore the cost of carrying others and how that cost has quietly stolen your future. Prepare to uncover truths you have long avoided. The journey deepens from here. Every time you said yes when your heart screamed no, you added another stone to your soul. Every time you rushed to solve a problem that wasn't yours, you chipped away at your own spirit. Every sacrifice that went unseen, every boundary you allowed to be crossed, every time you chose their comfort over your truth, it accumulated, not in ways you could easily see. No, it sank deeper, into your bones, into your breath, into the very architecture of who you became. Carl Jung once said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls." In carrying others, you avoided facing your own. You convinced yourself you were doing good, that you were strong, that you were love itself. But at what cost? You lost yourself. You stopped asking yourself what you needed, what you dreamed of, what you feared. You muted your own desires. You silenced your own cries. There is no greater betrayal than the one we commit against ourselves. You were not born to be a caretaker of adult children. You were not born to be the emotional dumping ground for broken people who refuse to heal. You were not born to abandon your own life in service of others. And yet, here you are, tired, bitter, resentful, hollowed out. They told you that love meant giving everything. But real love, real connection, does not demand your self-erasure. Imagine your life as a garden. When you spend all your time watering someone else's soil, your own garden withers. Your flowers die, your fruits rot. And when you finally look up, you realize you are standing in a wasteland you created with your own hands. It is not selfish to protect your garden. It is wisdom. It is survival. The truth is, they never asked you to save them, not with their words. They manipulated you with their needs, with their helplessness, with their endless crises. And you, wanting so badly to matter, answered the call. But you matter because you exist, not because you perform. You matter when you rest. You matter when you say no. You matter when you walk away. You must understand, every time you prioritize your needs, you are not abandoning them. You are returning to yourself. There is a loneliness that comes with choosing yourself. The people who benefited from your self-abandonment will not celebrate your awakening. They will resist. They will guilt you. They will accuse you of being selfish, cold, cruel. Let them. Their anger is not your responsibility. Their disappointment is not your burden. You are not their parent. You never were. You are the guardian of your own soul. Nothing more, nothing less. As you release the weight that was never yours, you will feel lighter. Not immediately, not without pain, but day by day, breath by breath, you will begin to remember what it feels like to be alive inside your own skin. In the next part, we will dive into the rebirth that follows the collapse. Because once you lay down what is not yours, you finally have the strength to build what is. There is a death that must happen before true life can begin. Not a physical death, a death of illusions, a death of old identities, a death of the savior you were never meant to be. You stand in the ruins of who you thought you needed to be, and though it feels like devastation, it is the most fertile ground you will ever know. Welcome to the rebirth. It starts subtly. You notice the spaces where once you would have rushed in to save, to fix, to soften the blow. You feel the pull, the aching pull, to intervene, to ease their suffering, to carry their shame. But you stop. You stop because you finally understand. Their journey is not yours to rewrite. In this stillness, you begin to hear your own voice again. Faint at first, fragile, like a whisper from deep within the forest of your being. It says, I am here. I have always been here. And so you turn inward. You ask yourself questions you have long avoided. What do I want? What do I love? What makes me feel alive? At first, the answers may not come easily. Years, decades even, spent in service to others have starved your inner world. But slowly, gently, you begin to remember. You remember the books you wanted to write, the places you longed to see, the music that once moved you to tears, the child within you, the one who danced without shame, who dreamed without limits, stirs. You realize you have lived most of your life under the weight of invisible expectations. Be good, be responsible, be strong, be selfless. But you were never asked. Be yourself. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming the person you were always meant to be, not the mask you wear for approval, not the role you perform for love, but the self, whole and unbroken, that exists beyond all stories. Individuation demands sacrifice, not of your soul, but of your illusions, You must be willing to disappoint those who only loved you for what you gave them. You must be willing to stand alone in rooms you once filled with your endless giving. You must be willing to lose everything that was built on your own self-betrayal. And you must be willing to stay. Stay with yourself through the loneliness, through the terror, through the aching yearning for the old, familiar chains. Because chains, no matter how familiar, are still chains. Freedom is not easy. It demands everything. It demands you. You will face the temptation to regress, to pick up the phone and solve their crisis, to drive across town and clean up their mess, to silence your needs and shrink yourself once again into the version of you they prefer. Do not. Every time you resist that old pull, you strengthen your new life. You are teaching your nervous system that safety does not come from being needed. Safety comes from being whole. You are teaching your soul that love is not earned through sacrifice. Love is your birthright. You are building a life that belongs to you. It will be lonely at times. It will be frightening. You will question yourself. You will long for the easy numbness of your old patterns. But you are not who you were. You are not the savior. You are not the sacrifice. You are not their parent. You are your own beginning. And as you claim this truth, you will begin to attract a different kind of relationship. Relationships not built on dependence, but on mutual respect. Not on rescue, but on recognition. You will meet people who do not need you to shrink for them to shine. You will meet people who do not see your boundaries as threats, but as invitations to authenticity. You will meet yourself, perhaps for the first time, and you will be astounded by the person waiting for you beneath the rubble of your old life, the one who is fierce, tender, whole, the one who does not need to be needed to know they are worthy, the one who lives, fully and unapologetically, for themselves. The death of who you were is painful, but the birth of who you are, that is a miracle. As you walk through this fire, remember, you are not losing your life, you are reclaiming it. In the next and final part, we will speak of the ultimate freedom that comes when you no longer seek to be anyone but yourself. The journey is nearing its end, and its true beginning. There is a silence that follows the storm, not the kind of silence filled with fear, not the kind that waits for the next explosion, but a deeper silence, a stillness that asks you to listen, not to others, not to the world, but to yourself. For the first time in your life, you are not waiting for someone else's crisis to tell you who you are. You are not measuring your value by their need for you. You are not seeking purpose in their chaos. You are simply here, whole, breathing, alive, and it is enough. In this new space, old habits still whisper. Old fears still knock at the door. You may still find yourself tempted to reach back into the past, to wear the old masks, to perform the old roles. But you have changed. And once you have tasted freedom, no matter how frightening, you cannot unknow it. You are no longer the guardian of others' brokenness. You are the guardian of your own becoming. There is a sacred violence to this transformation, a violence that destroys what was false to reveal what was always true. You begin to see the world differently. You begin to see yourself differently. You notice when someone tries to pull you into their chaos. You feel the hook. You feel the old reflex to jump, to fix, to save. But now, you pause. You ask yourself, is this mine to carry? And more often than not, the answer is no. You have learned that true compassion is not rescuing. True compassion is witnessing another's journey without stealing it from them. You have learned that love is not sacrifice. Love is presence, boundaried, whole, free. You have learned that your worth is not conditional, not negotiable, not something to be bartered for scraps of affection. You are worthy because you are. And as you root yourself deeper into this truth, something extraordinary happens. Your energy changes. Your relationships shift. Those who only loved the broken version of you fall away. Their departure stings, but it also liberates. In their place, new souls arrive. Souls who do not need you to disappear for them to exist. Souls who meet you eye to eye, heart to heart. You realize that you were never too much. You were only ever too much for those who preferred you small. You realize that you were never selfish for wanting space, freedom, joy. You were only ever living inside a narrative that taught you to betray yourself. You realize that you do not have to explain, defend, justify your existence. You are allowed to want what you want. You are allowed to need what you need. You are allowed to choose yourself. Not once, not as a desperate last act, but every day, every moment, as a way of life. The false guilt will still rise sometimes. The urge to prove your goodness, your loyalty, your love. When it does, place your hand over your heart, close your eyes, and remember, you do not owe your life to anyone. You owe it to yourself. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And this is your privilege now, your calling, your homecoming. You are not the parent of broken people. You are not the healer of those who refuse to heal. You are not the savior of drowning souls who refuse to swim. You are the flame, the breath, the beating heart of your own life. You are the dream that refuses to die. You are the love you have been seeking all along. Let others walk their path. Let them fall. Let them rise. Trust that they have their own inner wisdom, even if they have forgotten it. Trust that you have yours. The world will try to lure you back into the old games, the old performances, the old self-betrayals. Smile at the temptation. Thank it for reminding you how far you have come. And then walk on. Walk forward into the wild, terrifying, beautiful unknown of your own becoming. You are not selfish for choosing your own life. You are sacred for it. You are not cruel for refusing to carry what was never yours. You are courageous for it. You are not abandoning others when you choose yourself. You are honoring the divine within you. And as you do, you give others permission to find their own strength, their own wholeness, their own way. The greatest gift you can give the world is your own healed, whole, unapologetic self. No more shrinking, no more sacrificing your soul for scraps of approval, no more living half-lives to make others comfortable. You were born to blaze. You were born to breathe. You were born to be free. You were born to be you. As you close this chapter of your life, know this. You are not who you once were. You are not who others needed you to be. You are who you have chosen to become. And that choice, made over and over, breath by breath, moment by moment, is the most radical act of love you will ever commit. Live it. Own it. Be it. The world has enough people who abandon themselves. It needs more people who have come home. And now, you are one of them.